Okay, welcome back everybody. So we are still kind of kicking on the bandsaw. It's taking a little bit of time, doing a lot of cleanup work in this episode over the last few weeks since I posted the last video. I remember now when I restored this big saw, it was a lot of work cleaning parts. Of course, that's a bigger saw, but it's taking a little bit of work. So a couple things I want to share real quick before we get started. First off, I want to give a huge thanks to you guys for the help you gave me on the last video. Obviously, I had a lot of struggles there, and I don't claim to know what I'm doing here. I love to fix things, and sometimes I get it right, sometimes I get it wrong, sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, and that's what I love about YouTube is I get help from y'all. So I wish that I could go back and answer every comment and say thank you and a high five to everyone, but I can do that now. So I just want to say thanks. A couple things y'all helped. First, y'all helped identify this piece here. So this is a phenolic resin gear that kind of confused me when I saw it because I didn't expect anything outside of metal in this saw. It was a very old saw, which we're going to get to that in a little bit. Basically, these were designed so there was a failure point in the machine. These things would strip out. They're pretty, they're solid and strong, but they're not as strong as metal. So pretty cool little thing. Learned something new on that. Appreciate that comment. Also, the bearings. Had a lot of trouble getting bearings off the shaft for the top wheel and the gearbox housing. So I got a bearing splitter, which y'all recommended. That thing worked great. It's probably going to be a great tool to have around the shop. And then heat. I don't know why I didn't think about it. We used a lot of heat on this saw to knock off some bearings, and I don't know, it didn't come to my mind. So yeah, I got the torch out, heated that gearbox up, and with a little bit of careful banging with a screwdriver, I got that bearing out. So we got 6 bearings in total sitting in here. They're all the same size, which is nice. And then there's this one little thrust bearing here that went with the tensioning. Also, real quick, you are going to get to see some woodworking in this video as well, as we're going to build a really nice little case to ship these wheels with. I am going to reuse this case. I'm not actually building a hand-cut dovetailed crate just to ship wheels. I need a cabinet to store all my chisels and goods for my mortiser, something nice and neat. And so when I get the wheels back, we'll use that nice dovetailed case to make the cabinet. So let's get to work.
Okay, y'all stay back, okay?
Okay. There's more around.
Okay, doing a little work on the bandsaw today. I'm going to try to get these shipped out to Stratoplane. They will do all of the crown and installing the installing the tires, crowning the tires. I'm going to have them do all that work on this one because we've kind of partnered up on this series, and they want to help out. So they will get it. They have actually a machine. I think they're going to film the process where they can mount these wheels, put the tires on, and properly crown them. When I did the big bandsaw, it was the most sketchy process I've really ever done using a router. So these are a lot smaller, a little bit easier, but it'll be cool to see how they do that. Before I can get them out of here though, I do want to shoot finish on them. So I've decided to clear coat everything. I know I'm probably going to get some hate in the comments, but I think this is going to look really cool just having clear, raw cast iron look. So I'm just throwing on this diamond finish, this direct to metal clear finish. Found this stuff online. Should work pretty good. Should be pretty fairly simple. I'll spray it. Okay, so I'm gonna do some work on the guides for the bandsaw here. These are the original guides that came with it. These are ceramic guides, so they have kind of a block in here that the blade can ride on, and then behind there is a thrust bearing at the back of the blade rides on. I've never actually used these type of guides on any of my bandsaws. All the bandsaws I have bearings as side guides. This is the original guide for the Oliver 35, the big saw. I replaced it with modern day guides just because, as you can tell, it's in pretty beat up shape. It only had one of these. I'm not sure if it had two on it, but it only had one on it when I got it. So what I want to do, just looking at these, I can tell we probably need to replace the blocks in here, which I can get. Obviously need to clean it up, get the rust off. And there's a little cap here for oiling that bearing inside, so I want to get in there and see what that bearing looks like. It doesn't sound too good, so if I can get them out, hopefully I can find those and replace them, and then clean these up and reuse them as the original guides on the saw.
Use that to put on the maple.
Yeah, I think that'd be great to use. Okay, managed to get the bearings out of this one. These are some really odd looking bearings. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this. They kind of come apart, right? So, and there's only one side to them, and then there's a bushing in the middle that kind of separates the two bearings. Those are really weird. Hopefully these are replaceable, because these, I think, are done for. That aside, I'll have to take those to the local shop in downtown San Antonio, see if they got anything. This bad boy here gave me a fuss. So this is a kind of an eccentric rod that goes in here and allows you to adjust this. It was stuck in there and we were having a hard time getting it out. Give it a shot. The screw trying to get loose.
Is ready to tell you lefty loosey?
Yeah, left. Maybe it's the other way. I don't know.
I think it's stuck.
I think it's pretty stuck.
Oh my gosh. I almost passed out.
That's not gonna happen. You can't do it. I can't do it.
It was stuck in there, and we were having a hard time getting it out. Neither Robert and I had the power to do it, and then I realized there's a kind of a gnarly set screw that didn't have a slot for a Allen key or anything like that. So I first tried to Dremel a little slot in it for a screwdriver. That didn't really work. So I drilled a hole in it right down the middle, which unfortunately I went a little bit too far and went into this little rod. So I don't know if I'm going to need to repair that. I don't know how well it's going to spin in there now with that in there, but it might still work. So this is a little bit interesting. This is the bearing I just pulled out. It has this spacer. So basically you have this bearing, this little spacer, and then this bearing over the top. So that would be how it sits inside there. This is different than the other guide bearing. So it just has like a steel kind of washer bushing in between. This is actually marked 192 on it. So this is a genuine, I guess, Oliver part. This is with the saw. I'm going to assume that this one someone fabricated or put in there to shim it out to make it work. I would guess this one's not marked, and you know, you would think they would make them the exact same. There's no real difference in these two, so I don't know. I'll have to reach out to Stratoplane on this and figure out what their thoughts are on that. Kind of weird. Must have been fixed at one time. I gotta guess that's the case. So I don't quite understand on these ceramic guide blocks what the point of this little dude is. It sticks. It's like a kind of looks like a steel wedge, but it's not doing anything. You can move it up and down with a little force. I don't really get the point of that. I don't know what the function of that thing is. Anybody know anything about that? Let me know. Shoot me a comment. You know, I might have figured it out having taken it apart. There is a notch in this one on the back side where obviously the blade has hit it, so maybe it's another back support for the back of the blade. I don't know, but that is weird. Obviously at some point a blade's hit that. All right, it's time to shut this video down. A couple things really quick. First of all, I want to share a little tease, kind of what's going to be going on with I keep calling them Stratoplane. I don't know why. Stratoplane, they are a company who bought all the rights to all the old Oliver machinery. They also they restore Olivers. They do really cool stuff. They're a cool company, super helpful. They have all the old documentation, and they've already sent everything I need to know about my saw. This is some cool stickers, all kinds of stuff. So I have the original the original purchase date of this saw, down to the month and day. I have who bought it. I have all that information. I'm going to share that with you in the next video. Also, they sent the parts that I needed, the tensioning spring for the saw. They had it, and they sent that to me. So you want to stay tuned, because this is pretty cool information. You're going to want to know more of the history on this saw. And I'm going to share a little bit more. They're going to send the wheels back, obviously, and I'm hopefully going to get some footage of that process and share a little bit more about them. So big thanks to them for helping me along the way on this, but even more big thanks to you guys for all the comments you left in the first video. I really do appreciate that. And if you think you can help me out with the bearings on the guides, I'd appreciate that as well. Leave me a comment. I don't know a lot about those, but I'm thinking if I take those bearings down to, there's a bearing store in downtown San Antonio, a great place. They should have replacements. And I'm going to take care of all that next week. So in the next video, everything should be getting clear coated and then reassembled. I'm hoping to have the saw reassembled for the next video. And then we got to figure out the motor. I got to figure out what I'm going to do to drive this thing. It probably won't be running in the next video, but we're getting really close. I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate y'all. Remember, if you want to support the channel, first you can subscribe if you haven't already. Second, I do have merchandise, which helps a little bit, and I do have a Patreon as well. All that helps a little bit. I love bringing y'all content. It's a lot of work, so any bit of support, even if it's just hey, thanks in the comments or some advice on what I'm doing, always appreciate that. So as always, thanks as usual, and we'll see you next time. I have one more thing to show you. I might have a slight problem. This is the last piece of all our equipment I'm buying. I don't know if you caught that. But it's really cool. I'm going to show you guys in an upcoming video. I'm really excited about it. Okay, for real this time, bye.